Holy and eternal, we awaken to the sun's glory of light, praising you in the morning. You are the blue dome above and the limitless sky beyond. You are the warmth that embraces Mother Earth, the rain that quenches her thirst, giving renewal of life to all her children. You are the brightness of sunlit leaves, the congregation of great rocks, strength-giving, among which we stand steadfast. You are the stillness in the mountains, the corresponding stillness in us, deeper than all stirrings of self. You are the mesa and cliffs, where birds dart down and sing. You are the wings, the singer, and the song. You are the listening world. Your signature is the beauty of things. Welcome. We are here today to celebrate the life of Brenda Louise Wells Crowley, because even though we sit in the presence of great loss and are saddened by what we face, we are nevertheless assured that there is a spirit alive in the world over which death has no dominion, a light which no darkness can extinguish. Brenda was an embodiment of that light. We gather now to listen, to grieve, and to reflect on Brenda's life. Most of all, we are here to pay tribute to her spirit and to give thanks for all the gifts of life, which because of her, we have been the recipients. We gather also in the hope that in the time of her death, she might strengthen our hold on life. Now time for our chalice lighting. We light this chalice, which transforms wax into the pure warmth and light, to remind us of our own living, transforming the stuff of this world into the love and activity of our daily lives. As we remember Brenda, may today bring forth transformation in ourselves, from grief, healing, from memory, wholeness, and from celebration, love.
This was a brief poem that was written by my parents, John and Denise Wells, in a card that my Aunt Brenda held on to after it was given to her before her college graduation. We all dream of great deeds and high positions, away from pettiness and humdrum of ordinary life. Yet success is not occupying a lofty place or doing conspicuous work. It is being the best that is in you. Dream, aspire by all means, but do not ruin the light you must lead by dreaming pipe dreams of the one you would like to lead. Make most of what you have and are. Do the thing near at hand, and great things will come to your hand to be done. No matter what you choose to do, be happy.
Brenda Louise was named after two dear, loyal family friends. Was a cherubic, curly blonde baby and a blessing to her parents, Joseph and Jacqueline Wells. She was the fifth child and the seventh member of an expanding household and really stretched the limits of the three-bedroom house we were in. There was no single bedroom for Brenda, not yet, because there were certainly more siblings to come. Soon Brenda was squeezed between four older siblings, as well as two younger sisters and a sole younger brother, but she was surrounded on all sides by loving family. And eventually we moved into a larger house on Vernon Street that also included, because that wasn't enough, a wild menagerie of animals, including cats, dogs, rabbits, sheep, guinea pigs, goat, and a pony. There was always room for more at Vernon Street, and that was a lesson Brenda would take to heart. Being in the middle brought great life lessons to Brenda. She learned to negotiate the complex alliances of shared space, to accept the uncertainty of ownership of pets, clothes, toys, to calculate the amount of space you were allotted in the back of a truck on a cross-country drive, and to graciously wear the older sister's clothing, even if those sisters had a propensity for loud 70s plaid. Following multiple siblings to St. Charles, Brenda balanced wanting to do her best and to establish her independence, but also wanting to find a place to fit in. When given the choice of where to go to high school, she went her own distinct route to the Voc, a regional vocational high school in Wakefield. At the Voc, Brenda expanded her circle of friends. She focused on the practical application of skills and did receive great support from our cousin and her classmate, David Edmonds. And perhaps an early sign of her lifelong desire to help those less fortunate, mixed with a little bit of teenage folly, Brenda invited 2 new friends from Revere to spend time in bucolic Woburn. All were having a joyful time until my father, the police officer, noticed the girls' photos on a runaway poster and promptly pulled up in front of the house in the Boston police cruiser. Despite a few tense moments, all was forgiven. Brenda had a way of charming my father. Brenda also had intentions to help people and friends in need, and this was just an example of that. As siblings grew and wandered away, Brenda finally had a room of her own on the top floor, sort of like winning a prime property in a childhood game of Monopoly that hadn't gone awry. It was a place where she decorated in her own personal style, listened to her favorite music, and welcomed siblings to stop in and talk. And Brenda loved to talk. We talked late into the nights about her dreams, her happy memories of our family trips, and her desire to have her own family, and her desire to improve herself. She decided she wanted to pursue further education, graduating from Middlesex Community College and later Framingham State. When Brenda always wanted to have her own special place to study, and she picked some unusual places, including the VA chapel adjacent to Middlesex and the Wellesley College Library. At the library, she got into a little trouble because she brought in too much food. She was reprimanded by a young staff member for bringing in way too many snacks during her study sessions. But she did share her food with that guy, who was kind of cute and had a little sort of almost John Kerry young doppelganger kind of way. Ultimately, she and Sean, that young man, married, grew their family in the house on Vernon Street. As Brenda faced her cancer diagnosis with a no-nonsense confidence and a path of her own, we resumed those late-night talks. Again, we explored her thoughts on music, time, her fondness for coincidence. And after her last radiation treatment, she sent a simple text saying, "The dog days are over, the dog days are done." She also conveyed one simple message, that she wanted the singular goal of her life, that we continue to support the growth and the support of her 2 children, Shayla and Cameron. We will deeply miss those visits, the talks, and we, family, siblings, friends, will still be able to speak with Brenda and feel her love and achieve that goal of supporting Shayla and Cameron. With love.
Brenda embraced a caring, that showed up quietly, repeatedly, and with her whole heart. What drove her was something far more powerful than a paycheck or an obligation. It was a genuine and abiding admiration and love for people who the world too often dismisses. In a world that too often overlooks older adults, Brenda turned towards them. She enjoyed their stories and appreciated their wisdom. She saw their dignity and created deep friendships. To some, Brenda's actions may have seemed like ordinary moments, a visit, a phone call, a meal shared. But to those on the receiving end of Brenda's presence, her presence was everything. Because of her gift to make sure that these friends knew that embracing life mattered. There were inside jokes to share, and there was ice cream to eat. Even after her diagnosis, Brenda made a point of visiting her friend, Louise Sullivan, whom she affectionately called Sully. Sully and Brenda had a decades-long friendship, and Brenda was proud of her parents had named Brenda Louise. This pride came from knowing Brenda, Joyce, and Sully as independent women with successful careers who embraced life in our very large family. As age began to diminish Sully's ability to engage with the world, Brenda brought the sunshine and a whole lot of organizational skills. Not only did Brenda, along with Larry, make sure that Sully was properly cared for, Brenda also made sure that there was fun and that Sully's rooms were elegantly decorated. In addition to independence, Brenda admired women who carved out life for themselves despite every obstacle placed in their way. That is why Brenda was drawn to Loretta. Loretta was a woman who had lost her sight, and her husband in 1942 suffered a fatal injury in a fire while Loretta was still a young bride. Loretta and Brenda developed this friendship as Brenda cared for Loretta in her final years. A key part of that care was preparing and sharing meals. That love of creating and sharing meals, special meals with friends, was something Brenda passed on to her son Cameron, a man who throws a very amazing brunch if you have the opportunity to join him. Brenda and Loretta also found joy in sitting outside on a beautiful day and letting nature entertain them. Connecting the threads through time, Brenda and Sully also shared some of their favorite moments, sitting on a bench and admiring the antics of the chipmunks and the beauty of the birds. Over the years, this pattern would repeat itself. Brenda would step forward when it would have been much easier to let someone else step in. From the random stranger who needed advice and assistance to get the assistance her family needed, to Phyllis and Harriet, sisters related to us through marriage, Brenda found a way to make sure these women felt heard and celebrated. This desire to hear stories and understand the journeys of those she admired was a lifelong trait. And in her last days, she talked about the gift of learning from her sister-in-law, Denise. Denise, whose mother had passed away when Denise was still a teenager. They discussed the enduring connections of faith, shared dreams, heartache, and the legacy of love passed down through generations of mothers. By sharing her own journey, Denise helped Brenda come to terms with hers. Even Brenda's favorite doll, Mrs. Beasley, loved to tell stories. In fact, Mrs. Beasley, perhaps the only doll fashioned after an older woman, liked to say, "Would you like to hear a story? I know one." We heard that frequently in our childhood. Shayla brought the joy of Mrs. Beasley back to her mother's life this past Christmas when Shayla found and refurbished a vintage Mrs. Beasley using skills her mother very much admired. As we celebrate Brenda's life by sharing her story, we are reminded that while people who step forward often do so quietly and in a way that may go unnoticed, our communities and our families are better for their actions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rebecca, and I'm one of Brenda's nieces, and I'd like to say a few words in her honor. After high school, the path ahead wasn't immediately clear for Brenda. Like so many of us at that age, she was still searching for her place in the world. That search eventually led her to AmeriCorps Vista, a turning point where her desire to learn finally met her passion for serving others. Throughout this year-long program, Brenda would learn firsthand about a broader world needing support. But there was still a roadblock, stepping out of her comfort zone of Massachusetts for an unknown streets of Philadelphia was daunting. Yet she knew learning and leaning into this opportunity was exactly what she needed. She often told a story of attending a baseball game through AmeriCorps with some of the kids she shared. At the park, she gave each one $5 for some food at the stand. With unbound excitement, the children were quick to ask if they could keep the money instead. They knew that $5 would go a long way outside of that park into buying needed groceries for their family. This experience stuck with Brenda. By giving a little of what she had, Brenda was able to provide more than what she could imagine, something that continued throughout her life. 20 years later, Brenda taught her daughter, Shayla, to go beyond her own comfort zone as well through 4-H. Shayla joined the Littleton Hack and Tack Club, and they even founded another club, the Middlesex Mayflowers. Attending these meetings became a monthly tradition for them, traveling the first Friday of the month to find community and a healthy place to grow. Through 4-H, they would do community service projects together, including making cards and distributing them to nursing homes, making blankets for animal shelters, and even mentoring and doing cleanups along the way. Brenda was a key figure in this club. Serving as an important mentor and leading these children, Brenda led them in many different projects, including a hydration station, part water refill, and recycling center for 4-H fair. When their years of 4-H ended, Shayla followed in Brenda's footsteps, going into service at AmeriCorps. Also following in their mother's footsteps, her son Cameron attended her alma mater, the Northeast Vocational High School. Brenda is so proud of the great friends that he made and the many accomplishments along the way. Years ago, when I was 15, I was going through my confirmation training and needed to fulfill volunteer hours. And the first person I thought of was my Aunt Brenda. I had learned early that her work was not just a career, for she had become a true humanitarian. Spending those hours with her was the best of both worlds. I could complete my requirement by carving out quality time with her. Brenda worked at a vocational program for special needs adults. For her, it was never just a job. Instead, it was a calling to ensure that everyone, regardless of their challenges, would feel the dignity of a hard day work. I remember starting each day by picking up the students who ranged from 16 to 24 with a wide variety of abilities. The dynamic between Brenda and those students put me at awe. Their harmony came directly from Brenda's patience, leadership, and her natural ability to be a friend with a listening ear, whoever needed. Watching her, I saw how deeply the students cared for her and a positive impression they left every single day. She had a rare gift for seeing potential where others did not. Her impact lived on in every person she empowered. Seeing Brenda in that light was a true blessing, and it made me appreciate her even more. When Brenda was a great role model for me and for so many of her friends and family. Her life and her legacy will inspire us to live a void of compassionate living and caring to create a better world. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit as we sing hymn number 101, Abide with Me.
Good afternoon. My name is Amanda, and I had the pleasure of working with Brenda teaching students with special needs. I started my career working with younger students and transitioned to my first job with high schoolers, and luckily had Brenda there. She exemplified professionalism and always showed true compassion for the job and the students. Standing here today is not easy, but it's an honor to be able to share a few words about someone who meant so much to so many of us. When you work in a school, your colleagues often become more than coworkers. They become partners, teammates, and friends. Brenda was all of those things and more to me and others. Every day, she showed up not just to do a job, but to make a difference in the lives of the students and the people around her. Brenda had a true gift for making every student feel valued and seen, which is not always easy to do with any students, especially students with severe special needs. With the kids we worked with, you have to pay attention and listen in different ways. You have to be in tune with nonverbal cues. You have to give time to understand people and help them communicate. Brenda always treated our students with dignity and respect, just like she would anyone else. This translated to her life and her ability to also talk to anyone in any different situation. One of the things that is really hard to come by in teaching kids with special needs is to keep at it when progress is slow, to help kids become independent and feel worthy, to help them socialize and work on things that typically come easy to others. Brenda was a master of doing all of these things, part of what made her truly great. She was caring and had a quiet demeanor that students respected. She was calm in the middle of storms, and we faced a lot of storms. She knew what she was teaching, life skills, helping kids become more independent and self-sufficient. I always looked forward to the days that Brenda and I got to deliver Meals on Wheels with our student. The thing with our job is that we could have just been doing the things ourselves to not hold the kids accountable. Brenda understood this, that we were teaching how to work with the kids to each of their best abilities, understood what each kid was working on, and could individualize her teaching. Packing food at the senior center and then delivering it around town was beneficial to so many people. Our students learned many life skills. They also brought a smile to people's faces. We also could do all of this while knowing where all of the fire alarms were in the building, as one of our students was quick to get there to pull the alarm. We always had to have one step ahead of them, which again, she was a master at, without the students catching on. We also bonded in the bathroom, which I know sounds strange, but we did this over helping students become more independent, brushing their teeth, their hair, taking care of themselves. Brenda cared so much for the students and helping them become the best version of themselves. Working together, we also found our common love of thrifting. Brenda would always bring things in for the students that would help or make our spaces look better. Beginning her third year teaching, Brenda wrote, "I just want you to know that I admire our students. I love to hear their greetings in the mornings and watch their interactions. They make me realize what is new and what is changing. I love to work with them and train them to be valuable workers. So many days they make me proud and put me in awe." She was thankful for the opportunity to keep doing what she loved and stated that every day has the potential to be a good day. That last line truly defined how Brenda approached her job and her life. No matter what happened the previous day, no matter what was going on in her own life, she came in with a positive attitude, and it made a difference to the students that we worked with. She was also able to have a sense of humor through this, which is a skill not many have, but kept us sane during the tough times. After I left teaching, I started nannying and was connected with a family that had twin 2-year-old boys who were born premature and had developmental delays. The twins were very sensitive to new people and would cry and cling to me when new people were around. One day, Brenda met us at Horn Pond for a walk. One of the twins wouldn't even let anyone else push the stroller he was in until Brenda came into their life. With her gentle voice and her way with people, he warmed up to Brenda, and they were hamming up and chatting, even though John had no words at the time, all the way around the pond. I always said that John had the best judgment of character. A kid who hardly lets anyone in let Brenda in within a few minutes of meeting her. If he let you in, you were good people. I always enjoyed sharing stories on how the kids were progressing, and Brenda truly understood my relationship with them. While we are all feeling the loss today, we are also grateful. Grateful that we knew Brenda, that we witnessed the difference she made. The impact that Brenda had on so many students' lives is one of her legacies. Even though I'm one of the few here who had the privilege to work with Brenda, to see her magic at work, all of you can relate to how she made people feel. She knew how to really listen. She was always caring and thinking of others. I will always treasure those days we had together, remembering how she made people feel, her thoughtfulness, and her ability to find the good in people and in situations. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Yasha, and my family and I have had the privilege of being Brenda's neighbors. We moved into the neighborhood 4 years ago, and from the first day, her family and Brenda both were there to introduce themselves and welcome us. From that moment on, we knew we had found something special. Brenda's warmth became a steady and comforting presence in our lives. She greeted us not just with a smile, but with thoughtful gestures, treats, handwritten notes, and a kindness that felt genuine and constant. Every New Year's Eve, Brenda opened her home to all of us. She created a space filled with warmth, laughter, games, and thoughtful touches that made everyone feel welcome. She had a way of bringing people together effortlessly. Throughout my recent pregnancy, Brenda was there with advice and encouragement. One of her favorite tips, the lettuce hack, was something only a special few understood, and it's a memory I will always treasure. That was Brenda, practical, caring, and warmly sharing wisdom in her own unique way. When my parents visited from India, Brenda extended the same attention to them. She took special care to make sure they felt comfortable and supported, offering a phone number and support, and let them know that they could reach her at any time while we were away at work. That gesture gave us immense peace of mind and meant more than words can express. Brenda's care extended beyond individual acts. She was deeply committed to the entire community. She played a key role in helping install a stop sign near the neighborhood school, something that likely prevented accidents and kept families safe. She just didn't live in the neighborhood, she looked out for it. She also had a special place in her heart for our little toddler Nandini, bringing her toys, always thinking of others, always giving. Last summer, as she began her quiet goodbyes, Brenda gifted us something deeply meaningful, her heirloom water jug and Shayla's Halloween cap for our little Nandini. These were symbols of her family's history and the deep connection she shared with ours. Even in her final messages, Brenda's spirit remained unchanged. She shared stories, always ending with her signature humor, making us smile. When we visited her just days before her passing, she insisted on standing up from the bed to be with us. That moment reflected her strength, her determination to simply be present, to be with us until the very end. Her connection to us is hard to put into words. She filled a space in our lives that we didn't know was empty until she stepped into it. Brenda gave us her presence, her strength, and her unwavering care. She was always just around the corner, and she will always be in our hearts.
Before I introduce Tracy Friedman from the Haven Project, who many of you probably heard Brenda recently talk about, I want to mention how grateful we have all been for Sean. Sean did what the best partners in this world do. He let Brenda be Brenda. And that is such a gift. And because he allowed her to go out on her adventures, to experience life, and was a true partner, all of these wonderful things that we have discussed here today come in part because of that relationship. So thank you, Sean, for being the best partner. Now, Brenda, again being the organizer, and Tracy Friedman, if you're here, if you want to make your way up here. Oh, there she is, okay. It's hard when there are so many family and friends in the room, which is a lovely thing to see. Well, Brenda, ever the organizer, made a point of making sure we had a way to continue stepping forward when others step back, to use our skills to help bring joy and hope to others. So at Brenda's very specific, not to be ignored request, we have invited Tracy Friedman from the Haven Project to discuss their work and how the thread of connections continues to bear fruit.
Good afternoon. Feeling a little unworthy of speaking at Brenda's service today. I never had the pleasure of meeting Brenda in person. When she stumbled upon our nonprofit, I was out on leave having my daughter, and by the time I came back, she was unable to visit again. But my name is Tracy Friedman. I'm the executive director of the Haven Project. Brenda has met our staff and been through our building several times and felt really strongly about our mission. So I wanted to just say on behalf of the entire Haven Project team, thank you for the opportunity to celebrate Brenda alongside you. Last year, our development director, Megan, met Brenda and Sean, like I mentioned, kind of by chance. They visited our social enterprise cafe, Land of a Thousand Hills in Lynn. We provide job training for unhoused youth, ages 17 to 24. And Brenda continued to visit with Megan and the staff at the cafe in the months that followed together. They developed a connection rooted in their shared dedication to the Haven Project's mission. Though our time with Brenda was brief, her influence was significant. Brenda's commitment to making the world a brighter place, even in her final days, serves as a powerful inspiration. This dedication is a precious gift to our mission and to many vulnerable young adults who rely on our care and support. The Haven Project's been serving unhoused youth and young adults in Lynn and on the North Shore since 2011. Our mission is to equip and empower homeless youth with the tools they need to be stable and live independent lives. Each year, we work with about 300 youth and young adults and help them move from street homelessness to safety and stable housing and long-term stability. The young people we serve often arrive with no stable source of income, very few resources, and are not connected to other supports. Our case management team works really closely with these young people to address immediate needs while building a pathway towards long-term stability. Through both in-person and virtual support, we focus on housing and employment, education, health, community, and community engagement. We help meet basic needs by providing essentials such as hygiene kits and gift cards, access to on-site laundry and shower facilities. And last year, 60 young people graduated from our job training program right in the cafe that Brenda walked into. In 2025, we launched a transitional housing and rapid rehousing program for 24 young adults. So Brenda came to us at a time where we were really building up. We continued our partnership with Arbor Light Homes on a Catalyst project, which created an additional 23 permanent supportive units specifically for young adults. Together, these efforts have helped to create and coordinate a pathway for 48 young adults from street outreach to transitional housing and ultimately to permanent stability. Our goal is simple: to work alongside young people to create a clear path from homelessness to independence. Brenda supported this goal by donating household supplies, putting together Halloween goodie bags for our program participants, and connecting us with her family members. Several of whom I have met. They continue to carry on Brenda's work by donating games and books for the community spaces and libraries of our housing projects. And they've helped seek out critical legal support for our participants. They've advocated for the completion of the Lynn MBTA station renovations, which are currently stalled and have affected our access to the social enterprise and the drop-in center that we use daily. Many of you have already made donations in honor of Brenda, and we are forever grateful for that support. If you are moved to carry on Brenda's legacy, we encourage you to reach out and connect with our team. Myself, Megan, our assistant executive director, Angelica, we'll take the time out any day to talk with anyone about unhoused youth and show you the same facilities that Brenda got to come through. We have information cards that I will make sure that you have access to before you leave with our team's contact information. Please take one on your way home today, and we are always looking for volunteers. There's opportunity to make hot meals, to organize donation drives for hygiene supplies, for food pantry, a chance to lead workshops if there's something you're really passionate about or something you're good at. It sounds like Brenda would be surrounded by people that brought that light into the world, we hold workshops at least 3 nights a week, and are always looking for people in different fields to come in and teach our young people different skills. We invite you to take part in our annual 5K to end youth homelessness. It's in September, and it's in Lynn Woods, which is a beautiful reservation in Lynn. Our Grow the Good Gala is in May, so if you are able to attend either of those, we would love the support. Proceeds from everything I just mentioned goes directly to young people in our community, which is something Brenda was very passionate about. With your help, we're incredibly honored. I can't tell you how deeply moved and honored I am today to be standing here to keep Brenda's memory alive in the work that we do every day for vulnerable young people. Thank you so much.
We invite you to sing with us and join responsively in these words, "You are not forgotten." Helen Masota,
you are not forgotten.
Loretta Flying,
you are not forgotten.
Brenda
you are
Joy,
not forgotten.
Marcia
you
Meyer,
are not forgotten. Bruce Miller,
you are not forgotten.
Joseph Gattuso,
You are not forgotten.
Mike and Janice McQueenie,
You are not forgotten.
Donald and Dawn Scott,
Eileen Sapienza,
not forgotten.
Michael Webb,
Not forgotten.
Joanna Crowley,
Not forgotten.
Michael G. Sapienza,
Forgotten. Irene Crowley,
you are not forgotten.
Kevin Masada,
You are not forgotten.
Phyllis Miller,
You are not forgotten.
Ruby and Whit Brown,
Harriet and Wangacha,
are not forgotten.
Clyde Bond,
Forgotten.
Anna McQueenie,
Forgotten.
George Barnes,
Mary
you
Wells,
are not forgotten.
Joseph Martin Wells,
You are not forgotten.
Patricia Teixeira,
You are not forgotten.
May and John Carcass,
Thomas Earl Petty,
you are not forgotten.
Sheila
You are
Edmund,
not forgotten.
Dick Edmund,
Forgotten. Andrew Rollins.
you are not forgotten.
Matthew Rollins.
You are not forgotten.
Jacqueline Boswell.
You are not forgotten.
Joseph F.
You
Wells.
are not forgotten.
There are so many to be remembered, many more than could be named in our litany this afternoon, many unnamed in words, but whose memory and whose love we hold in our hearts. If you would please join me now in prayer. Eternal love, in which rests the spirits of all, we are everlastingly grateful for the company of those who, having walked with us in this life, have gone before us into the world of light. We are surrounded by a mighty cloud of witnesses, saints and prophets, aged men and gracious women, and little children, all those most dear who, though they be invisible to our outward eye, yet speak within our hearts of truth and love and peace. Especially are we thankful for Brenda. We give thanks for all those secret, mysterious completions of life beyond our understanding, but witnessed by the unending love of the universe. Brenda's service to others in private, her petitions for support and comfort, the cry of her soul in pain and in joy, and the benediction of peace which has come at last. Now may she rest in peace, for her eyes have seen a glory, her heart has known love, and her life has been and will always remain a blessing. May we hold Brenda in our minds and in our hearts as we grieve, as we smile at the memory of the love she shared with the world, as we honor and celebrate her life. Amen. Let us now enter into a time of silence as we hold Brenda's spirit in our mind and in our hearts with love, as we honor the life she lived and the love she shared. Amen. After the postlude concludes, Brenda's family invites you all to a reception downstairs in Metcalf Hall. And now our benediction. May we honor the life of Brenda Louise Wells Crowley by living more fully, more joyously, and more compassionately, and whatever number of days ahead are still ours to claim. As you leave this sanctuary of memory and hope, go in peace. And may all that is good and holy in this world be with you and bless you now and always.